Good morning, students. Today our chapter is the design of gantry girders, right? So here, starting with some basic introduction, what is the definition of gantry girder and what are the components which included in this type of girders, right? So gantry girders are also known as a crane girders, carry hand-operated or electrically operated overhead cranes in industrial buildings such as factories, workshops, steel works, etc. to lift heavy materials, equipment, etc., and to carry them from one location to the others within the building. So hand-operated cranes have lifted capacity of up to 50 kilonewton, and electrically operated uh, overhead traveling cranes called EOT cranes can capacity in the range of 10 to 3000 kilonewton. So there are some components of crane system here. First is a crane girder. Second is a trolley or a crab. Next is a gantry girder, and last is a crane rails. Right. So crane girder span of the bay of the shop. So the trolley or crab, which is mounted on a crane girder, can travel transversely along the crane girder. The trolley has a 4 wheels. The crane girder has 2 wheels at each end and is capable of moving longitudinally on rails. So these are the typically crane notations here, which roof clearance is provided, crane truss is here, hook approach, bolts, base plate, pedestals, gantry girder, column, right? Here is the elevation part, and then bottom of that here plan is provided, right? So gantry girder spans between a bracket attached to the columns, which may either be of a steel or reinforced concrete. So the span of the gantry girder is equal to the center to center spacing between the columns. So rails are mounted on the gantry girders. So here the components of the crane system, as you can see in this figure. So there are some loads which is acting on the gantry girders. So gantry girders having no lateral supports in its length has to withstand the following loads, which is a wheel load, braking, surge, crab weight plus hook load, weight of crane frame, surge, wheel load, right? So what are the vertical loads from the crane, which is the self weight of a crane girder, hook load, weight of the crab. Second is impact load from the crane. So as the load is lifted using the crane hook and moved from one place to the another and released at required place, an impact is felt on the gantry girder. So as per IS 875 and IS 8807, impact loads are taken as given in table number 5.1. So third one is a longitudinal horizontal force, which is also known as a drag force. So this is caused due to the starting and stopping of the crane girder moving over the crane rails as the crane girders move longitudinally. So for example, in the direction of the gantry girder. So this force is also known as a braking force or drag force. So this force is taken equal to 5% of static wheel loads for EOT or hand operated cranes. Right. Fourth one is the lateral loads, also known as the surge loads. The lateral loads are caused due to sudden starting or stopping of the crab when moving over the crane girders. So lateral forces are also caused when the crane is dragging weights across the floor of the shop. So IS 875 gives the following recommendations, which is for EOT cranes, 10% of the weight of crab and weight lifted on the crane. And for the hand-operated cranes, only 5% of weight of the crab and weight lifted on the crane. Right? Here, table number 5.1 is given. Here, types of load and its impact allowance in percentage are given. So, for vertical load transfer to the rails, for EOT cranes, for EOT cranes is the 25% of maximum static wheel load. For hand operating cranes, it's a 10% of maximum static wheel loads. Second is a horizontal forces transfers, which is also known as surge load to the rails. It's for EOT cranes, 10% of the weight of crab and weight of lifted on the crane. For hand operated cranes, 5% of weight of crabs and the weight lifted on the crane. And last is a horizontal force along the rails, which is also known as a braking load. So only 5% of static wheel load for EOT or hand operated cranes. Next is attaching rails to the gantry girders. So the wheels of the crane girders moves on the rail mounted on the gantry girder. The rail sections are attached to these gantry girders with bolted clamps or hooks bolt spaced about 500 to 1000 mm center to center, which is mainly depends on the lifting capacity of the crane. So rails are generally not welded to the gantry girders because of difficulty in a readjustment of the alignment or replacement of defective or worn out rails. So hook bolts and the clamps are shown in figure, which is used in this type of girders. There is a hook bolts. So lateral load on rail and typical bracket. So the following figure is the typical bracket taken out from the steel column and lateral load acting on the flange of the wheel. So as the crane moves with the load, lateral load is developed due to application of brakes or the sudden acceleration in the trolley. Right? Next is types of gantry girders, which is A, B, and C. There are different types of gantry girders for it. So depending upon the span and the crane capacity, there can be many form of gantry girders. So some commonly used form are shown in figure, right? The rolled steel beams with or without plates, channels, or angles are normally used for span up to 8 meter and for cranes up to 50 kilonewton capacity. So plate girders are suitable up to span 6 to 10 meters. Plate girders with channels, angles, etc. can be used for span more than 10 meter, and the box girders are used for span more than 12 meter. So next is limiting deflection for gantry girders. So as per IS 800/2007, clause number 5.6.1, table number 6, the maximum vertical deflection of gantry girders shall not exceed the following values, which is there are different types of category, and depends on this category there are maximum deflection here. So for vertical deflection, manually operated crane, maximum deflection is L by 500. For EOT cranes up to 50 ton or 500 kilonewton, its maximum deflection is L by 750. And for crane over the 50 ton, which is maximum deflection is L by 1000. So lateral deflection relative between this rail is maximum deflection is about 10 mm to 10 mm or L by 400, right? So there are here maximum deflection at mid span for the two wheel loads here. So there are two wheels. There are different distance between support to the wheel when wheel to wheel and wheel to support. So here A, B, C are the distance between them. Here the center to center distance between two loads, right, is total distance is L and half distance is L by 2. So the maximum deflection at E is equal to delta C is equal to WL cube by 6 EI in bracket 3A by 4L minus A cube divided by L cube. So here delta C is equal to deflection at C, W is equal to static wheel load, L is equal to span of gantry girders, E is equal to modulus of elasticity for the steel, which is 2 into 10⁵ Newton per mm square. I is the moment of inertia for the girder section, and A is equal to L minus B divided by 2. Here B is equal to wheel base. So second is maximum deflection at mid span for the 4-wheel load, right? First case is for the 2-wheel load and the second case is for the 4-wheel load. So here maximum deflection at C is equal to delta C is equal to W by 24 EI in bracket A in bracket 3L square minus 4A square plus B in bracket 3L square minus 4B square. Here A is equal to distance between outer wheel from the ends and B is equal to distance between the inner wheels. Next is the maximum load effect. So gantry girder is subjected to the rolling loads in the form of two concentrated wheel loads at a fixed distance. So this loads must be placed in such positions to induce the maximum bending moment and shear force in the gantry girders. Right. So first is the load position for maximum vertical load on gantry girder. So maximum vertical load on Jatri girder is a maximum reaction of the crane girder. So therefore, to get the maximum reaction at the end C of the crane girder, the crab should be at the hook approach distance from the end C. Right, as you can see in this figure. So W is equal to weight of trolley plus weight lifted by the hook. LC is equal to span of crane girder, and L1 is equal to minimum hook approach. Second case is a load position for maximum shear force in the Jantri girder. So for simply supported girder with a two moving loads, the load position which produce maximum shear force is shown in this figure. Right. So the shear force due to the wheel load is a maximum when one of the wheels is at the support at A or B. So third case is a load position for maximum bending moment in the Jantri girders. Okay, so for maximum bending moment, the wheel load should be placed at the CG of the two-wheel load, which is known as R, and one of the wheel load lie equidistant from the center of span. So maximum bending moment will then occur under the wheel load, which is nearer to the center of the girder. So if the spacing B is between two equal loads exceed 0.586 L, the maximum bending moment will be given by placing one wheel load at the center of the girder. Now, next case is for two cranes. So when the two cranes are operating in tandem or on the same span, this have to be located closest to each other towards the mid span to produce maximum bending moment. So in such situation, there will be four wheel loads, two wheels from each crane. Right, so these four wheels must be adjusted on a span such that the CG of the loads and the nearest wheel load to the CG are equidistant from the center of the span. So if one of the wheel goes outside the span of the Jantri girder during the arrangement, should be ignored while calculating the bending moment. So the maximum bending moment will then occur under the wheel load, which is nearer to the center of the girder. Right. Next is the design procedure, how we design the Jantri girders. So the design Jantri girder is a trial and error procedure. In the designing, it is assumed that the lateral load resisted entirely by the compression flange with the plates, channels, etc. And second is the vertical load is resisted by the entire beam. So first design step is a maximum wheel load. So to determine the maximum wheel load of crane girder which is transferred to the Jantri girder, its equation is total weight of the crane girder divided by span of the crane girder. So concentrated load equation is equal to a weight lifted by the hook plus weight of the trolley. So this concentrated load is placed at the point of minimum hook approach and maximum reaction of crane girder is calculated. So at the end of the crane girder, there are two wheels. So load on each wheel is equal to maximum reaction divided by 2. So wheel load is increased by 25% for the impact and then factor. The next second step is maximum bending moment in the Jantri girders. Right? So UDL on Jantri girder equation is equal to self weight of Jantri girders plus weight on rail section. So for maximum bending moment, the wheel load should be placed at CG of the two wheel load and one of the wheel load lie equidistant from the center of the span C. So the maximum bending moment will then occur under the wheel load which is nearer to the center of the girder. Third case is a maximum shear force. So UDL on Jantri girder is equal to self weight of Jantri girder plus weight on the rail section. So shear force due to wheel load is maximum when one of the wheels is at the support. So first case is a horizontal force, braking force. So it is taken to 5% of static wheel load on each Jantri girder. This load is a factor. Second is a horizontal transverse force. So surge load is equal to 10% of weight lifted on hook plus the weight of crab. So for one crane, this load is shared by four wheels. So surge load on each wheel is equal to total surge load divided by 4. So this load is also factored. The fourth is section selection for the Jantri girder. So generally an I section with a channel section is chosen through an I section with a plate at the top flange may be used for the light cranes. So generally following guidelines are followed, which is economic depth of girder is taken is equal to L by 12, width of flange is equal to L by 40 to L by 30. Section modulus ZP required is equal to K into MU divided by Fy. Here K is equal to 1.40. Then next is a calculator IZZ and IYY and ZP for the trial section selected. Sixth step is check for moment capacity, check for shear capacity. These all checks are we already learned from our previous chapters. Then eighth step is check for buckling resistance. Well, this is new. So when the Jantri girder is laterally not supported, the design bending strength of the beam is given by MD is equal to beta B ZP into FBD. Here MD should be more than MU. The next is a check for a local buckling. So at the points of concentrated load, the width of the girder must be checked for local buckling, and if necessary, load carrying stiffeners must be provided to prevent the local buckling of width. So buckling resistance equation is equal to V1 plus N1 into TW into FCD. So here KL by R is equal to 2.43 D by TW. Here IS 800 2007 clause number 8.7.3.1. This curve C is used. So buckling resistance must be more than maximum factored below. Right? And our last step is wheel design. So required shear capacity of wheel QW is equal to VA Y bar divided by IZ. So here wheel is required to connect channel to the top of the flange of the I-beam. The capacity of 1 mm long wheel P is equal to LW TT into FW. If P which is greater than QW, then it's safe. And last check is a check for deflection at working load. So maximum deflection at the center for the two wheel loads, delta C is equal to WL cube divided by 6 EI in bracket 3A by 4L minus A cube by L cube. So permissible deflection for EOT crane up to 500 kN capacity delta is equal to L by 750. So delta C less than delta per is safe.